Once upon a time, there was a valiant general. After defeating 100,000 of enemy troops, he strutted across all the civilian and military officers at court. In the victory meeting, an elderly minister asked apprehensively, "General, will the enemy come again?" The general laughed and pointed at a huge tripod outside the audience hall. "Look, do you guys know how much it weighs?" Later on, he took big strides to the tripod. Just like this, the bronze tripod that weighed hundreds of caddies was raised up, thrown out, and taken back easily by him without turning a hair, which drew cheers from the crowd. Soon after, he shot arrows at full tilt towards the wind bells hung on the cornices, and did not miss a single one. Each of the onlookers applauded. A retainer flattered immediately, "Oh, my great general, with your highly skillful kung fu, enemies can only seek their dooms." The general was elated and asked the retainer, "Who is the greatest hero in the world?" The retainer answered, "It's you for sure, my general." Toast to the general's masculine beard. Since then, the general no longer practiced martial arts. When a rooster crowed at dawn, the general put it into a wine jar. When a bugler blew the horn, the general hit him with a boot, saying that there was no need to practice after the triumph. A few months passed. The general became big-bellied, indulging in dissipation, beer and skittles, living a luxurious life. Singing and dancing could be always heard and seen in the general's office. A small parrot imitated the retainer and said, "Peace reigns over the land. Peace reigns over the land." It made the general feel better. Taking off his military uniform, the general started to be arty-crafty, wearing a flower, waving a fan, and traveled abroad. One day, he saw a strong man lifting a barbell won a lot of applause, so he also wanted to show off. Unexpectedly, the stone barbell about 200 caddies was too heavy for him to carry. He tried so hard with his face turning red, but he failed. The barbell dropped and hit the retainer's feet. Then, the general came to the reed lake for fishing. However, how could an impetuous person tackle with elegant things? The general threw a fishing rod to the ground angrily. At this time, a wild duck fell from the sky, and a fishing boat appeared in the reed lake. It turned out that the wild duck was shot by the young hunter aboard. Hearing that he was a marksman in local area, the general was ill-affected. The retainer stepped forward in a hurry, pointing at the general, and said ostentatiously, "He's the real marksman." At this point, a group of geese passed overhead.
拿你的弓箭来！哎，打个张口宴给你们瞧瞧。什么张口宴？
The general knocked the arrow tremblingly, but failed to draw the bow. The jiggly arrow he had a hard job to shoot seemed to fall down in mid-air, and was held in Goose's mouth for fun. Hero in the past turned out to be an idiot in the eyes of his people. He was annoyed, but didn't think much of it. On his birthday, retainers sent him a tablet as a gift. It read, "The greatest hero in the world." While the general was laughing and asking servants to hang it up, he received the news of enemy invasion. Guests ran away at once, almost breaking the threshold. Like the situation when they came in, the general yelled at someone to get his spear, only to find it rusty and unrecognizable. The quiver had also been a rat nest. The general could only sharpen the spear at the last moment, but the blade decayed so seriously that it broke off in no time. Billows of smoke were rising from beacon towers and war raged. The general shouted, "Somebody, help!" but no one answered. Soldiers who had not been trained for a long time fled without a fight. Only the parrot left on the shelf shouted, "Peace reigns over the land." While the gate was about to be broken down by the enemy, the general managed to escape through the dog hole. However, he was too fat to get out and was caught on the spot without any resistance. The prototype of this story was thought to be Li Cunxu, the founding emperor of the later Tang Dynasty. In the 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms period, he was adept in riding and shooting, both civil and martial virtues, conquering surrounding regions and establishing the later Tang Dynasty. However, in the later period, he was indulged in sensual desires and failed to select the capable for the country, and was eventually killed in the mutiny. Those whom the gods wish to destroy, they first make mad. The arrogant general rested on his laurels, made no attempt to make progress, and brought destruction on himself eventually. It seems that others' flattery is far more dangerous than enemies' sword.